The chromium is flat, they call it like a type 1. But you can also have a curved or hooked type 2 and 3 where it's curved over. So that space is naturally going to reduce to it. So if you've got a reduction of space, then the structures that go through that, i.e. the supraspinatus in particular and the bursa, is going to be caught when you lift your arm up. Yeah, because like typically in the abduction during the painful arc area. No doubt you can get other sort of structures, you can get pain, you can get posterior shoulder pain, yeah, around here. And then sometimes weirdly, pain here is not so much a problem with say the infraspinatus, but it's almost like a manifestation of pain in another structure that's referring to this area in here. And like trigger points in here would give you pain around the front and down your arm. So the trigger point is referring to that. Pain around this sort of deltoid insertion is not normally the deltoid when you lift your arm up, you feel it down here. Again, it could be a rotator cuff referring to that sort of insertion point here. So in my book, I do show an AC joint, I do show a bicep tendinopathy, but we're going to do the typical shoulder sort of tape in. But you can adapt this one, I'll show you what I mean. So with any shoulder pathology apart from AC joint, we're going to just offload the deltoid. So we're going to apply this towards the deltoid tubercle. There. And then what we're going to do first of all is to place the anterior deltoid on stretch, just by bringing the arm back. No, that's okay. Like that. So we just bring the arm back. When I was taught with my Muller, they would bring the arm this way, but that in itself would almost cause impingement. So I've changed it and brought it back now. So that lengthens the anterior deltoid. So what we're going to do is just tape around the front. Like that. And then the second one is for posterior deltoid, bring the arm forward. And pull. I remember taping one of the boat race members, one of the Americans, and he said, "John, I'm not really sure what this tape does, but I've got an issue with my shoulder, can you tape it?" I said, "Yeah, okay." And I taped the shoulder and he rolled, and he said, "You know what, John, my shoulder feels so good. Can you tape the other one up?" Yeah, so I literally taped it. There's nothing wrong with that. And he said, "I just feel like I'm unbalanced if you tape both up." Alright, yeah, okay. And it helped him, and that year they won, so I'm not saying it's due to the taping, but now, if he has pain, let's say for instance, the supraspinatus, so there's the spine of the scapula, the supraspinous fossa is located here, then the supraspinatus comes across, as the acromion, comes across to the anterior part here, so the greater tubercle. So the supraspinatus is over here. So if you get pain in this area, but you might be referring, then the supraspinatus turns the arm out, external rotation and abduction, so we want to turn the arm in to lengthen it. Okay, be careful because not everybody can do this movement if you've got a capsulitis in the shoulder. So if we want to do the most common presentation of shoulder pain, which is a supra, so we're going to place the shoulder in this position, and then this one's going to come more anterior on the supra insertion point. Yep. And then this finger is going to follow the supraspine fossa, where the supraspinatus will sit. There's the spine, 75% stretch. And then the second one, this one you can bring it under if you want to, or on the infraspinatus from there, because they're innervated by the same nerve. Any ideas what the nerve is and what level? The nerve for the supraspinatus and the infraspinatus?
6, 5, 6.
Was it? You tell me. You tell me.
5.
See, 5 and 6. Okay, what's the name of the nerve? Okay, if you've got bursitis, you can bring the tape here. You don't need to rotate because the bursa does not contract, so it doesn't make any difference on the position. And if you've got infraspinatus, then you can, even though it doesn't insert here, it'll cross. So you could bring like a posterior pain, shoulders, or a swimmer shoulder they call it. So you can bring the tape over this area, and again you could lengthen it by internally rotating. The name of the nerve? What? What's that? No, it's not sub. The subscapular nerve supplies the subscapularis, and you have the upper and lower part. So this is the suprascapular. Close? Close? Yeah. Suprascapular nerve will supply the supraspinatus and the infraspinatus into that area. But it's coming from C5, 6 in your neck. Okay, so that's one of the most, now think about it, what we've done. So it's probably in your interest, not mine, yeah, but you're proficient in the most common sort of areas of pain. Shoulders, knees, yeah, Achilles, yeah, things like that. Yeah, the ankle tape and edema, yeah, things like that. The smaller areas like the tennis elbows and the golfer's elbows, then obviously you need to learn them. Yeah, but you'll be doing more of this. Like Rock Tape might invite you to look after the London Marathon. All right, so they'll say, "Can you give us a hand?" Yeah, might give you some money, some tape, etc. think about the tape, and your skill level will go from there to there, yeah, within about 2 hours.